This is The Extra Point, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast, sponsored by your Phoenix Suns.
All right, Nick King in here. Got Todd Kelly of Golfweek with us because I don't think we've ever seen anything like this, what's going on right now. We've seen, obviously, Tiger Woods' levels of dominance by himself, but to have Scottie Scheffler win today, make it 4 out of 5 with the second place thrown in there. Nelly Korda win yesterday, 5 straight. To have that concurrently on the 2 tours. Todd, you ever seen anything like it?
That's definitely unique. We've seen golfers go on win streaks. On the PGA Tour, Byron Nelson, I think, got to 11 one time. Tiger's had 7 and 6, 2 different streaks. But for the LPGA, 5 ties the record, and only 2 other people have had 5 in a row. So Nelly just withdrew today. The next tournament's in LA, and she withdrew with good reason. She's probably exhausted, but her next start, if it's 6, that is unprecedented on the women's game. But yeah, to your point, to have it in the men's and women's game at the same time, I mean, and to have 2 number 1s win on the same weekend, I don't know if that's ever happened, but it's phenomenal. And these 2, I mean, you're not going to find 2 more competitive golfers than these 2. So,
or do you have any favorite? Because they've both been, obviously, to win this much, they've been dominant. But there's some good kind of within that dominance, like is some impressive numbers, stats. Anything that has stuck with you about either one of their runs here?
Oh, gosh, I don't have their stats handy, but I think it's during their run, they each won a major. Scottie with the Masters last week, Nelly this week with the Chevron. So they're winning. And then Scottie winning again this week, a signature event. So they're winning, but they're also winning big events. They're winning events with loaded fields. It's not like they're playing watered-down tournaments and guys are skipping here and there. I think they both drive the ball long and straight. You know, Nelly's she's tall, as you know, and she's one of the longer hitters on the LPGA, so that gives her an advantage over a lot of. But they're both accurate off the tee box. Their iron play, I mean, find 2 better iron players anywhere right now with those 2. And then Scottie switching putters and the way he's putting the ball. It's just, you know, there's all kinds of metrics in sports these days. And again, I don't have the complete breakdown, but I just think the way these 2 are going about it on a level of with the mental side, I think they both have the mental. Nobody ever figures that out really in golf, but they're both down that road of understanding how to mentally frame things, how to stay on track, how to stay focused, how to not get ahead of themselves.
Yeah, I mean, that's why this never happens, because like one of my favorite things about golf is even at the highest level, you can shoot a 67 one day and come back on the same course the next and shoot a 79 or an 82 if it's a major or something like that. Like that, just that level of consistency has been mind-boggling. And I love being here. You and I were both out in Gilbert a couple weeks ago to watch Nelly in person.
Yep.
Scottie's obviously didn't win this year in Phoenix, but his run of, I forget if it's 10 or 11 wins now professionally.
He's got 10, and I think his first one was the Phoenix Open.
Yeah.
So it all kind of started here. So,
I think the thing that strikes me listening to both of them too is just how kind of chill they are about all this and how humble they are about it. What did you take away getting to see Nelly and listen to her in person a couple weeks ago?
So the week before when she won in LA, she was asked, how did she celebrate? And she merely said, I went and got in and out and jumped in the car, and she made the drive out from LA to here. But that was her big celebration, was in and out. So when she won here and I got my chance to ask questions, I said, so you're going to hit in and out, right? Because I had Google mapped it, and there was one about 3 miles from the course. But that was Easter weekend, and all the In-N-Outs were closed, and she was really bummed about not getting in and out again, because you're in Florida. That In-N-Out, as you know, that's kind of a West Coast thing. So, but then she just said, well, before my round, when I got my coffee, I got this croissant. I think it was a chocolate croissant, and she kept it in the bag, and she was like, I'll just save this for later. And that was going to be her big treat. So, like, she's obviously thinking about golf and not about where you're going to celebrate and how you're going to celebrate. It's just keeping it simple. Scotty's kind of the same way. He's got a pregnant wife at home, and she's due probably maybe another 2 weeks from now. But at the Masters, that kept coming up, like, are you going to leave if you get that call? And he's like, yeah, I'm out of here. And then Saturday night when he was leading, we're like, are you sure you're still going to leave? And he's like, yep, I'm out of here. But that was, I don't think anybody doubted if he got the call, he would have left. And I think that speaks to the Scotty and Nelly both have this, like, they have this drive to be the best, but they're also not going to let golf define who they are. They still want to be who they are first, and golf's just kind of what they do.
I was a little bit scared that his wife was going to go into labor like overnight when he had 3 holes left to play with a 5-shot lead, and that was going to be the way that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure he was thinking that too. Like, let's get this rain out of the way and let's go.
How good. There hasn't been a lot of great, like the last couple of years, like golf's in a rough spot. Kind of the headlines is, of course, been so much about LIV and the PGA, and a lot of it's about money and how everyone can get theirs. All these players that are making a lot of money as it is. How good for the sport do you think this is, what Scotty and Nelly are doing right now?
Well, at least on the men's side, it's fractured, as you know, and LIV Golf has an event this week in Australia that, they don't have great viewership. They have some star attraction, but they don't have great viewership. But they're pulling away guys like Brooks and John Rahm and guys that can still play, and Cameron Smith, who could still win on the PGA Tour if they were still around. So on the men's side, it's been fractured. On the women's side, it's kind of that gaining traction has always been kind of their thing, their issue. And I think now having an American star, number one, winning all the time, should boost things. But yeah, how big is it? It's big. I mean, the ratings aren't bearing out. Ratings are actually down a little bit on the tours. And some of that might be like, some people actually want to blame Scotty. Oh, he's too boring. I'm like, how is Scotty boring? I just thought of a stat. You asked about stats earlier. He's now had 40 consecutive rounds under par, which is like 40 times. The only one who's had more is Tiger, and he got to like 71, I think. Like, how can you say that's boring? But people want to blame him for being boring and not being flamboyant, and Bryson DeChambeau or some of these other guys. But at the end of the day, he's winning. People we always talk in team sports, right? People like those dynasties. People want to see the Chicago Bulls and the great teams and the Golden State Warriors. So this is kind of like that in golf. We have a couple dynasties brewing right here. So I don't see how it can only help golf, right? And any attention on the women's game is good as far as what they're trying to do.
Yeah, it feels like so many of the Scotty stats are like first since Tiger. And I don't know that anyone thinks that what he's doing is on a Tiger level, but the way that kind of Rory has been expected to be that, probably on a lesser note, a Jordan Spieth or a Dustin Johnson over the years. Is this like definitively now the best golfer that we've had on tour since Tiger Woods?
I mean, I think so. I mean, he's won 10 times in 3 years. That's 10 times in 70, 80 events. I mean, it's the win percentage is up there. And if you're a real stat nerd, you can go on PGA Tour and look at stats. And until he figured out his putter, that was the only thing that was keeping him down. But I mean, all the other metrics, he was way out in front. He's already won $18 million this year, and it's only April. So like the stats, I just think it's tough when you're looking at like people want to float the Tiger name, and immediately people are like, whoa. It's nothing like Tiger, because people still remember how great Tiger was, and it was beyond great. It was like revolutionary, really, for the sport. So to compare anybody to Tiger is like comparing anybody to Michael Jordan. Not really fair to do, but look at the numbers. I mean, he's doing something. You said it, Spieth, John Rahm, Dustin Johnson. Some of these guys had these spikes. Rory hasn't won a major in 10 years, So, what Scotty's doing is, it's hard to say it's Tiger-like, but like, it's also hard to say it's not.
Yeah, probably the only thing he has to do now is like continue it through the summer, because I think like all of these wins have been like January through April in his career. But
you're right. That's another stat that, as we were talking, I was thinking about that too. It's yeah, you're right. Can he win May and beyond? I mean, the guy proved he can win anywhere at this point, but and I think we get caught up too with that, these Tiger comparisons. Let's enjoy this for what this is. I mean, Scotty's playing amazing golf. He's lapping the field. We're at the Masters, and on Sunday, all of a sudden, he's up 3 or 4 shots on the back nine, and we're like, wow, this thing's over, So let's enjoy this while we can. That's the way I look at it. Same with Nelly. I mean, she's doing some amazing things. I get why she withdrew this week, but we're all hoping she wouldn't, because it's like we want to keep the train rolling here.
Yeah. I know. I was texting with my brothers and my dad during the Masters, and their kind of leaders are about to make the turn, and we're like, oh, this is going to be a great back nine. Like 15 minutes later, I was like, or Scotty's just going to run away with it as everyone else melts around him.
Yep, he did the same thing at the RBC on Sunday at one point. I think he was, all of a sudden you look up and he's up 5 shots, and you're like, well, they'll go ahead and engrave the trophy. So, but yeah, to me, it's like, let's enjoy this while it can. For both of them, it could all be over in a month. We could be talking about how they haven't won in a month. I mean, it could, how it is. Golf can turn that. Somebody else is going to get hot, and it can be over that quick. But I just feel like, we got 2 number ones playing like number ones. Let's soak it all in.
Yes, well said. And that's what I want to do. I wanted to watch both of them yesterday and wanted to talk about it today. So, Todd Kelly, appreciate you swinging by and offering the insight. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say you got it. And Phoenix Open will be here before you know it, probably.
Shoot. Yep. There's never a time I'm not looking forward to that. So, thanks, Todd. We will see you at the next golf event in town.
Yeah, you got it. See you. Thanks for having me.
This is The Extra Point, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast, sponsored by your Phoenix Suns.